Since the beginning of time, humans have been captivated by this emotion called love, an intense, deep affection for someone you really like. This feeling of love can make life a lot more colourful and happy, and many of us long to be able to truly experience this emotion one day. Unfortunately, not all of us can. Yet. Okay, please don't be sad and click off this video, because I promise you that if you try hard enough, one day, just one day, you'll be able to find love. You just gotta be patient. Anyways, single or not, there's one genre of anime that's able to capture this emotion that we all want. This legendary emotion that is said to transcend time and space, and that genre is obviously romance. Wrong, fool. Because what's better than a waifu? Exactly, two waifus, multiple waifus. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, drumroll please, the harem genre. If you're unfamiliar with the harem genre, the gist of it is that it's basically a subgenre of romance where a male protagonist is surrounded by multiple female characters. There are many well-known harem animes out there, such as Isekoi, Dead Alive, and more recently, Rent a Girlfriend. Although some harem animes are notorious for being a dumpster fire, having unrealistic, one-dimensional characters with a shitty male lead, there are some harem animes that break those stereotypes, having some of the best girls in the anime and a male protagonist that is actually decent. If you haven't seen or read the show, the Quintessential Quintuplets may first come across as a generic series. You know, a guy fighting himself surrounded by a bunch of girls. But didn't your parents teach you to not judge a book by its cover? Unlike some harem anime out there, the Quintessential Quintuplets doesn't rely on visuals to keep the audience entertained, but it tells an uplifting and wholesome story about the importance of friendship, family, and love. Our main protagonist, Futaro, is a top student that was given the opportunity to tutor 5 daughters of a wealthy family. In order to support his own family, he grabs the golden opportunity, and this is where we meet the 5 amazing girls in the series. Oh, and did I mention that the girls are twins? And when I say twins, I meant 5 of them. Meet the 5 daughters of the wealthy Nakano family that desperately need help with their studies. We have the big sister, Ichika, the tsundere, Nino, the one that everyone loves and has a pout that can shatter the universe, Miku, the one friend you have in school that always radiates positive, wholesome energy, Yotsuba, and the domestic violence meat monster, Itsuki. What was supposed to be a moderately easy task turned into a living nightmare when Futaro discovers that the girls really don't want to be tutored, and they're also really dumb, and they also kind of hate him. Despite the odds, Futaro tries his best to motivate the girls to study, and it's through this process that we find out more about each character. They are quintuplets, but they all have different personalities, realistic personalities that we can actually relate with. Something that I really appreciate about this show is that it focuses a lot on character development, as it is obvious from the beginning that the girls are flawed, not just in their studies, but they each have their own problems that they must eventually overcome. Although Futaro only wanted to tutor the girls for money, he eventually becomes more than just a tutor, as he gets placed in situations where he had to help the girls with their problems. The show spends the first few episodes establishing the struggles that Futaro goes through as he tries to tutor the stubborn girls. But the story starts to escalate when Futaro starts to spend time with the girls outside of tutoring. It's here where we get to find out more about the quintuplets, and the competition for best girl begins. With every harem and anime in general, there is always a competition for best girl, and the winner is usually the one that is able to capture the hearts and souls of the audience. Usually, most animes have a clear and undisputed winner. For example, in Darling the Franxx, it was 02, and in Rent a Girlfriend, it was Mami. However, for the Quintessential Quintuplets, it wasn't easy to decide who was the best girl because the quintuplets were all such lovable characters. The 5 had amazing chemistry, and it was entertaining to watch them be sisters. Whether it was watching them spend quality time together or watching their rivalry, there wasn't a single moment where I got bored. And it was only a matter of time till I totally forgot about the concept of time and responsibilities as I fell deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. Just like in every anime, everyone has their own best girl. And you know what? Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong. I know what you're thinking now. But Raichu, how about the romance? I want to know more about the girls. And will I ever find out which girl gets together with Futaro? Well, the answer is yes. And that would have been a spoiler if the show didn't start with a wedding scene. The show begins a few years into the future, where we can clearly see Futaro getting married to one of the quintuplets. Which one? Well, the show doesn't let you know because they all look the same. What makes the romance so good in this show is that our main character doesn't care about romance. Futaro is a nerd, and by a nerd, I mean the kind of nerd that spends his free time studying. Seriously, who does that? Usually, when you have free time, it implies that you have time to relax and release yourself from your work and responsibilities. But Mr. Futaro here spends his holidays studying. But this does explain why Futaro doesn't have any friends, although actually being sociable. It's because he doesn't see the importance of having friends, and since he has no friends to talk to, he comes off as insensitive at times when speaking to the quintuplets. Despite all that, the truth is that Futaro has a genuinely good heart and has constantly proved himself to the quintuplets. Going back to chemistry, it was interesting to watch how the girls slowly open up to Futaro as they each learn and grow from their experiences with one another. The real romance begins when the girls start to see the good in Futaro. Well, obviously not all of them fell in love with Futaro, but it was a fun roller coaster to watch those that did. If you're someone that likes to ship characters, this show does an incredibly good job at keeping you on the edge of your seat, as any of the girls could end up with Futaro, so be prepared if your boat sinks. As a wise man once said, life is like a box of waifus. You never know what you're gonna get. So what more can we get out of these lovable girls? We've talked about their chemistry, their development, and the romance. Is there any more that the quintuplets can offer? What happens when you mix their chemistry, development, and romance? Who doesn't like a good laugh? According to science, laughing can do lots of things such as decreasing pain, relieving stress, and making us more attractive. The comedy in the Quintessential Quintuplets mainly revolves around the chemistry of the characters. Take Futaro for example. He isn't a funny person on his own, but throw in some quintuplets and an emoto and you get an entire circus of comedy. As generic as the story may sound, it is a genuinely good show. I know that it sounds like every harem out there, but this is truly a show worth skipping your homework for. It's fun, it's wholesome, it makes your heart go pitter-patter. The characters are unforgettable, their growth is spectacular, and come on, who doesn't want to watch cute anime girls?